My name is Hans and I had a 43 years active racing career, starting with touring cars, going to Formula 2, Formula 1, then doing sports cars, where I had actually my greatest success, winning Le Mans 3 times, the famous legendary 12 Hours of Sebring. And then also I raced with Audi here in the States, Trans Am and IMSA, became German champion, and nevertheless winning the Nürburgring race 24 hours 3 times. And 3 years ago I retired, but still work now for the Volkswagen company as a motorsport representative for the whole group. And with all having achieved this, I can tell you I'm the happiest person in the world. The new Golf R, taking it out here in those fantastic roads in California, and that's actually some kind of streets it really likes, that it's made for. It can show all its potential in terms of you can use different chassis settings, going from comfort mode to a racetrack mode, which then brings you all the performance the car is capable of. When you go to track mode, you change also your steering response, your throttle response, and of course it switches off the ESC, which is really then you are a free driver, you can do whatever you want. But nevertheless, when you want to have a Sunday drive on Sunset Boulevard with your mom or grandma or your kids, then you put it on comfort mode and you have a very comfortable ride during the daytime. So altogether it's made for everyday drive. And also with its all-wheel drive system, if you drive it in the snow, you're fine set off there. You won't have to use any snow chains. That's really perfect. And so the high range of things you can do with this car really makes it a fantastic car. Never forget about the data it has. 292 horsepower, the most horsepower ever a Golf was delivered in the States. And 280 pounds of torque, 0 to 60 in less than 6 seconds, which is really cool. And especially here now in the corners, you see how easy it performs going from right to left, It's just, it's like driving in heaven today here on these roads. Also, I think the sound is nice with this 4-cylinder TSI engine, turbocharged, and I think it's important that the driver can hear what the engine is doing, so he is really part of the car, and that gives him a great feeling. And especially in this version here with the DSG, which you can hear, I do shift on the steering wheel for the certain corners here on this track, always be in the right range of revs, and it gives you a real great feeling to master this car here in these corners. It has been a big pleasure for me when the Volkswagen R GmbH, which is actually the mother of this car, asked me to help a little bit in terms of the final settings of the chassis work. And we did this at the legendary Nürburgring racetrack in Germany, which has every format of corners that you can use for doing this. And I especially put my hand on steering response, which is one important factor as a race car driver. You need to have the feeling what the steering tells you. It's the connection between the road, the car, and yourself. So steering is a very important factor for me. Then I was also allowed to work a little bit on the chassis settings in the different positions you can use on the computer, from racetrack mode to comfortable and standard, And third, I pushed very much for having some good, reliable brakes in this car. So we put a little bit bigger rotors and calipers in compared to a GTI, because I think the brake is one of the most important features of the car, And when people take the car out on tracks, you gotta have a great feeling for the brake. It has to stand high temperatures and everything, and that was really great to be helpful to work on this car. And as I said before, it makes me a little bit proud now to be able to see this car performing here and people like it like this. Yeah, coming to these tight sections here, you can feel a fantastic feature, which is the XDS Plus limited slip in the front axle, and it does something really incredible. You don't have any kind of understeer, and especially with the Plus system, you even don't have any understeer on push, which is fantastic. So the car always is almost 100% neutral, and in combination with the all-wheel drive, it's just fantastic to drive, you see. Because as in my long career as a race car driver, I hated understeer, and here it's just nothing. It's always neutral. You see, in these tight turns, you turn it in, it really bites on the throttle, and off it goes. Ha! That's great. Yeah, now we drive a section where we have really lots of corners. So I put it on race mode, and we see what we can do here now. It's fantastic how it responds on the turning in, you know, and then you feel when it gets the bite in the corners. It's just great. Nice turn in here, no understeer, and right to the next corner. Holy moly! Shifting on the pedal, shifting on the steering wheel. Haha! Isn't it a kind of joy? Yeah, here now it's almost over up the hill, and having been able to drive this car up here, you know, in Bavaria, when you show our joy, we are yodeling, and I think this is the right point to yodel today. Hola Iti, la Iti! Isn't it a great day? Yoo-hoo!